before the Dark Ages, back before 2017, that they were intending to build a pyramid. Well, initially, yes, somewhat rolled my eyes, but then when they told me that each brick would contain 23 grams of the ashes of the dead, that twist in the story is what got me. Because a great story requires a great desire. Otherwise, it's a soap opera story, isn't it? It's a story of and then, and then, and then, and then. But once a great desire comes into the story, then it can rise above. It can rise above to the point where we can forget our own personal day-to-day dramas and invest at least just maybe for one day in a drama that's bigger than ourselves. And building a pyramid, I mean, that's about as big as desires get. Apparently, there's some folk who've got form with this sort of thing back in history sometimes. But this one is different. You see, the first thing that I want to know when I'm thinking about story is what the desire is. But a desire can only be built on values. And so I want to know what is the deep value that is being explored in this particular story. And right at this moment with the People's Pyramid, the question of whether the People's Pyramid is a good thing or a bad thing, that's no longer the story, because here it is, it's being built. We're on year 4 of the laying of the bricks of the dead. Is it, indulgent or not? That's not a value we're exploring anymore. It's here. The damn thing's arrived finally, and it's being transported here just as we speak. So no, what we are exploring now is the value of faith, because this pyramid can only be built on the faith of the dead. They are investing so much faith in the building of this pyramid. They have bequeathed their very bones to this project. And you, the families, the faith that you have shown in the wishes of your dead, or the decision that you've made to put your bones into this People's Pyramid, is an incredible act of faith. And so I like to imagine, you see, that I don't know if anyone else has done the calculation, but at the present rate of bricks per year, the People's Pyramid will take just over 1,000 years to build. Oh yeah, now there's a story worth getting involved with, isn't it? 1,000 years. So now let's imagine in 1,000 years' time, and they are placing the final brick. How exactly they do it, I don't know, but I can guarantee there'll have been a lot of standing around flatbed trucks. There'll have been a lot of discussion about yellow bombs and red flares and all sorts. There'll be high-vis involved, I have no doubt. And the final brick will be laid, and they will talk about us lot, won't they? Back at the beginning of this story, the faith we had to show to stand in the cold in the middle of Buxton, which for some reason is Toxteth, and await the container that should have been here at midday, and holding our beloved dead amongst us, ready for the laying. And they will talk of the faith we showed year after year after year. Because would any of you be anywhere else from here on in on November 23rd? No. Never! And so somehow myself, the bricklayer, and the justified ancients of Mumu, the undertakers, the merchants of death, the Hope Street Harmonies, Tommy of Toxteth, the Liverpool Arts Lab, somehow we are going to need to figure out how to replace ourselves before we ourselves become bricks in this thing, to ensure that this is passed down and that the final brick of the People's Pyramid will be laid. So, what? Look, we could have children. And my daughter's looking a little bit shifty, I have to say. But there might be information here. Are you all doing all right? We've got health and safety factors. Faith, yeah, in it. So, so we just turn up, and the thing is, at the moment, nobody wants the People's Pyramid. Toxteth don't seem to want it. Should we ask? Hang on. Should we say, Buxton? Repeat after me. Here we go. Buxton.
Buxton.
Are you Toxteth?
Are you Toxteth?
Will you take the People's Pyramid?
Will you take the People's Pyramid?
And we will go on asking around the country, are you Toxteth? Will you take the People's Pyramid? And this chapter of this entire story, this may go on for hundreds of years, mightn't it? As we drag this thing around in its container and lift it onto our flatbed and all the biz. Or maybe there'll be some fabulous twist in the tale. But what we do know is that wherever finally agrees to take the People's Pyramid, it will, of course, be Toxteth. It is just a state of mind. Anyone else have some words for us as we await the stick it in the garden? Yes. Have we asked Michael Evis?
We're all mailing.
Marvellous. Undertakers, do you have anything you wish to say further, or have you done all your sayings? We've got the wonderful Tim Holmes.
Good evening. So, as Anne said, I don't know whether you could hear her earlier on, but this is for Pete Wush. This was either privilege and honour. It's hard using positive terms when we're around death, but I had the pleasure also of being the celebrant at Pete's funeral. And this is a poem that I used to call us in. I hope it's appropriate for those others that are here today that lay bricks. Can I just say hooray? It's a wonderful day, so may I suggest we have fun and bring people together no matter the weather and enjoy it till all's said and done. We'll lift up our spirits and relish the morn, and then maybe by lunch, have a hunch, we'll partake of a drink and give our lives a rethink. So then when it comes to the crunch, we'll know what's important, but more importantly, what's not. And we'll measure our wealth by the friends that we've got. The ones that we've met and those still to meet. We'll put a spring in our step and we'll smile as we greet. We'll play music, eat food, be in jovial mood, and we'll treasure the chance that we're given to celebrate life and the passage of time. For we know that this gift is for living. And then as dusk arrives, we'll take stock of our lives. We'll put on our glad rags and we'll dance. We'll throw open the doors and take to the floors, and we'll step and we'll groove and we'll prance. We'll be humble in nature, but tribal in spirit. And we'll look to the skies, but we won't see no limits. Instead, we'll open our minds so our hearts can grow fuller. Our feet will grow tired and we'll watch as the colour of dawn appears. There'll be plenty of laughs and the occasional whoosh. But we know sleep will arrive, so there's no need to rush. Maybe one final drink and then maybe a cuddle. We'll enjoy our perspective in all of this muddle. We'll squeeze every drop, but we'll know it's not over. For tomorrow is waiting right here on our shoulders. And as we drift into sleep, we should fill up our dreams with all of our love and all that this means. And give thanks for all the fun that we've had, though we'll always long for more as we bask in the glory of the morning after, the night before. For Pete Bush.